Hi, this is Holly with Presence Point, and this is the third in a series of 3 blogs on Psalm 91. The first was on verses 1 through 4, talking about faith in God, or the hidden life we have with Him when in communion with Him and worshiping Him privately, just between the two of us. The second portion of verses 5 through 13 was really all about peace from God in the fact that we live a protected life, and I like to call this the protection psalm. The third section and the final section we're going to look at are verses 14, 15, and 16, where really we hear about the love we have for God. So let's take a look at these 3 verses. Verses 14. The Lord says, I will rescue those who love me. I will protect those who trust in my name. When they call on me, I will answer. I will be with them in trouble. I will rescue and honor them. I will reward them with a long life and give them my salvation. You know, the word translated love here isn't the word we often think about in Scripture as love, that agape love or the phileo love. But in fact, it's an actual word that means to cling to cleave, and to be passionate about. So when you think about that, it's so sweet to say the love of God, because I have my hidden life in Him is good, because I have faith in Him, those first 4 verses, I have this peace from God in those next few verses that gives me protection that I have complete peace about. And that leads to this love of God that is so remarkable that I cling to Him, that I cleave to Him passionately. Interestingly enough, this is the same word used in Deuteronomy chapters 7 and 10 for the love God, Jehovah God, has for His people, for the love He has for us. So here we love Him that way and He loves us that way. Wiersbe goes on to say, if we passionately cling to Him, His blessings will be deliverance, protection, answered prayer, and companionship in times of any type, trouble and honor. The deliverance and protection may mean help and deliverance during this life, or it may mean the joy of beholding the glory of God in the afterlife when our time here on earth is complete. The answered prayer may not mean a yes to the requests we make. In fact, I'm always confused when people say, God didn't answer my prayer. He answered your prayer. He always answers our prayer. Moses knew that if in fact he was the psalmist that wrote this psalm, as many think, he always answers our prayer. It's just not always in the affirmative. He sometimes says yes, he sometimes says no, he sometimes says wait, he sometimes says not yet, but he does answer because he always hears us. I like to pray, Father, would you please answer my request in the affirmative, provided it's in your will, because He'll always know the best for us. And then lastly, His companionship doesn't always mean there is no grief. I have a dear friend who lost her spouse completely unexpectedly during the middle of COVID. And her grief is deep, and her grief is almost palpable at times. And I think what she knows is that God still walks with her. The good chief and great shepherd never leaves her. So this protection psalm still applies because in fact, her hidden life with Him is deep. She knows she finds peace with Him fully. Even though she hurts, she can sit with Him and He will be her companion through the most difficult of times. He never leaves her, never forsakes her. And then of course, as Wiersbe points out, His blessing may even mean a long life here on earth. I've read that the Jews really treasured and find it a great blessing to have a long life, to see the life of their grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And I thought, that can't just be a thing that Jews love because this Gentile loves it too. My prayer is that I can dance at my granddaughter's weddings, that I can dance at my grandson's weddings with Doug, that we're still alive together at whatever age it is. But I think it's a value that many of us have when we have children. So here we are, the hidden life in the early part of this psalm, the protected life in the middle part of this psalm, and then this love of God that we have for Him because of those things, because we worship and commune with Him in a way that we know how valuable He is. We cling to Him with that love that's passionate. We cleave to Him. I love the comment Wiersbe makes. I've heard it said also that it's one thing for doctors to add years to your life, but it's another for God to add life to your years. I pray that the Father adds many life to my, hopefully many years. But if he doesn't, it's okay. Because the reality is he knows what's best for me. My hidden life with him is good. I have full, complete peace with him because of his protection. No matter what it looks like, I can fully trust him. He will answer me. I can completely rest in him. And because of that, we can passionately cleave to him and cling to him. So dear shepherd leader, this psalm, Psalm 91, I pray it's touched your life. I pray it's spoken to your soul. I pray that you feel and sense in it exactly what the Father intends as we as shepherds, under shepherds, for our children, for our employees, for the volunteers in our life, for our parishioners, for just our friends as we shepherd laterally. That it speaks deeply into your soul and that you can live even more effectively into your calling because of it. Thank you for joining us. May your day be blessed and your life be full of feeling and experiencing the good, great, and chief shepherd. Thanks for joining us.